Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. I thought you loved the bad guy. Well, Claressa Shields may be thinking, man, she out here giving away turkeys and everything else, man. But you know, right now she's seen as the villain. And it is what it is. I see the comments. I see what people are saying. They understand that she's one of maybe the most accomplished, female fighter, period. She's more accomplished than men. But the thing is, she's seen as a villain, all right? She's not seen as a pioneer for women's boxing. She's not seen as a pioneer for boxing at all. Some understand and recognize what she's done, and they respect that. But the problem is, this up here. Okay. But the problem is, the world just doesn't seem to like her, man. I sit back here and I try to talk about the good and the things that she's trying to do, man, and people just keep, pulling the conversation back to what she did, this, and that. And hey, did you see what she did today? And I'm like, damn. Despite her resume, despite her greatness, man, and people are like, you know what? She's not even being consistent inside the ring. They got an issue with her taking on a fighter who only has 5 fights. And I'm telling you this, right? When people don't like you, it doesn't matter what good you've done, what good you're doing. Let me tell you something, man. The relationship with the public is hard to rebuild. It's become increasingly fractured over the last few years. And let me tell you something, over the last couple months, shit has become a clean break. And look, I'm not making this up. Everyone's talking about it, and it's not in a positive way. Well, let me not say everyone. I say a lot of people, right? Because there are some people out here that, Claressa Shields can do no wrong. And I'm not saying they're wrong for feeling how they feel. Everyone's entitled to their own feelings, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just telling you, as she enters his 5th year handing out turkeys in Flint, Michigan, an act that should be celebrated, many people are calling it a PR stunt, dismissing her charity work as an attempt to clean up her image. Now, to that I say, in the most respectful way, hey, yo, hold your turkeys and let's not take it to the gobble gobble. Let's not take it to the cranberry sauce. She's been doing this going on 5 years now, right? But I do understand there's a lot more attention on it. It's out there more than ever. People are paying attention to her more than ever as a result of all of the people she's offended. Any and everything she does, people got their hairy eyeball on her. She created that. I didn't create that. You didn't create that. She created that. So for me, I'm like, yeah, it's a little unfortunate that she can't go out there and hand out a little Tom the Turkey and shit to the party people, man. And not have people looking at it talking there she go, hand out them turkeys. Where's Papoose? Papoose ain't out there. He ain't handing out nothing. Yep, he ain't out there. She just out there doing it for PR. She just want people to like her again. Nope, nobody like her. She the villain. We don't like her. We hate her. She disrespected Ali. She disrespect people. She got an issue with race, with color, with hair, with everything. We just don't like her. She the villain. Papoose, where you at, Pat? Yo, the damage has already been done. I'm telling y'all, the people she offended, they aren't letting up. And I'm not saying anybody should let up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. I'm not going to come out here and say that. I would never say that. You do what you want to do. You feel how you want to feel. Hold on a second here. You do what you want to do. You feel how you want to feel, okay? Messing with this microphone. Yeah, may have to go buy me another one tomorrow, man. Anyway, man, I just think for some people, they don't understand the fallout. And I think in order to understand the fallout, you have to look at the ecosystem around Claressa. She's from Flint, one of the toughest cities in America that, most of us are learning. Her upbringing was chaotic, unstable and full of adversity. And that shaped her. You know what I'm saying? It shaped her personality. She talks loud. She defends herself fiercely. And she doesn't take disrespect from anybody. And sometimes she doesn't realize that she's out here disrespecting people. And in a sport like boxing, this attitude, some people think it should be praised. You know, they say, well, what about Floyd Mayweather, Tyson Fury, Adrian Broner? They built entire careers on flamboyance, trash talk, fan polarization. Claressa's problem isn't that her personality isn't packed in a way fans are used to accepting from a woman. And many people, whether they admit it or not, they judge her harsher. So I think people are okay with a woman being a little bit loud, being a little bit wild. It's just the level of disrespect and how consistent she's been with being disrespectful and turning people off and criticizing, ridicule, and trying to make everybody seem like they're not okay and she's okay. That is the problem. Now, some people say, yo, they're judging her harsher than they judge the men. I don't know. But Shields is outspoken, but lacks the charismatic villain charm. You see what I'm saying? Mayweather, Fury, those guys were villains, but they had a certain charm. They were likable. Like there was really something about them that, for me, didn't quite offend. And from listening to people, it's like, yeah, they could be a bit annoying and shit, but it didn't quite develop a hatred for them. And that's a strong word. But the problem here is her delivery, Claressa Shields, is blunt, raw, and confrontational. It often feels personal, even when she may say she doesn't intend to offend, but it definitely comes across that way. She's out there trying to hand out turkeys. People are talking about what she's wearing. She got on a hat, a fitted cap. This is what somebody said. She got on a fitted cap, a piece of wig on her head, a leather jacket, and a catsuit with some high heels. And when they said that, I went and looked because I didn't see it. And I went and looked and I said, Lord have mercy, man. She can't go anywhere. She can't do anything. She can't wear anything. She can't say anything without people being on her ass, boy. But you know what? I'm not surprised that people are coming at her like that, because it all goes back, for the majority of people, to the controversy that hit its peak with Layla Ali. Those comments about Layla Ali, man, people aren't letting that go. And they ain't letting go of the fact that she's messing with a married man. Right? They're not letting that go. Period. That whole thing about Ali, man, and she would beat her in her prime, man. And people still talking about that. They erupt over that shit. They're like, this woman don't have no respect for women, for men, for legends, for the Ali name. That turkey, she probably was getting confrontation with that turkey and shit. You gobbled at me, turkey, you better be dead. You better be glad you dead. That turkey like it gobbled at me. They said she'll fight the turkey. But that's neither here nor there, right? What Claressa intended as confidence came across as dismissive to a lot of people. And in some people's eyes, she committed the cardinal sin of boxing, disrespecting the lineage, the people who came before you and paved the way. Some things you just don't do. Now, I do believe you can do what you want, but be ready to deal with the consequences. Consequences! Because at the end of the day, you know what it's about. Attitude. Because she came back in her heated response to fans online, going at them. Again, y'all are wrong. I'm not wrong. Verbal spats with critics, venting frustration on social media. And the narrative began writing itself, man. Look. Claressa Shields doesn't like her own fans. Claressa Shields doesn't like Ali. Claressa Shields doesn't like boxing no more. She wants to be a rapper. She really doesn't like them goddamn turkeys, but she's just trying to get people to see her in a different light. She don't want no gobble. She want to be gangster. And once that perception takes hold, fair or not, it's extremely hard to reverse. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta really get back to this shit that's going on today. When she was out there, man, gobble Tom the turkey and all that shit. Stuff you, turkey. I stuff your ass, turkey. 5 years in a row, charity work in Flint, feeding hundreds of families. But people out here want to criticize and ridicule her. But I understand, man. When you on the shit list, you on the shit list. She really should be universally applauded, but because the public believes she has an attitude problem, many people are reframing her generosity as strategic and it's just image management. And to be honest with you, when I hear people saying she's only doing it for PR, she's just trying to clean up her reputation. I mean, I don't know. I think it has something to do with it, but she's been doing it for the last 4 years. So I mean, it's not like this is just something that she pulled out of ass. You know what I mean? So it's so I don't quite agree, but I understand because they're like it don't feel genuine, and I can understand the timing. Some people didn't even know the last 4 years she was out there giving out turkeys and mac and cheese and cranberry sauce and stuffing and dressing and all that shit. They didn't even know that. So they're like, yeah, all right, she's doing something good, but it doesn't feel genuine. And this is where the heart of the issue lies. Once fans dislike you personally, everything you do becomes twisted. Even charity becomes suspicious. And that's exactly what's going on. So what can Claressa do? What can any person do when they offended the same community that once supported them? Truthfully, there are only a few options. And remember, there's a lot of people who called into the live that we do at night at 9 o'clock, which I will be doing tonight. And they said, man, they don't look at her the same. I mean, don't get me wrong. Somebody's like, well, if they don't like her, they don't respect her, why are they out there getting the turkey? Easy, McNicholas. Free 99. Free 99. Go get you that goddamn turkey, man. Why wouldn't they? Get the hell out of here. Basically free money and shit. But I think what she needs to do, man, she got to be consistent. And I don't know if she can be consistent with her positive behavior, but hopefully she can. She got to show some humility. More importantly, she got to shut up. Silence. Got to learn to be reticent, pick and choose your battles, listen a whole lot, talk very little. In her case, she needs to stop talking. And just with time, man, let time do the work. Sit back, and over time, people will be like, okay. And then more importantly, because people over time will ease up on you. You know what I'm saying? But more importantly, apologize. Apologize to the Ali family. Most people are going to sit back and still have an opinion about you because you already did the damage, but now it's time to do a little bit of, damage management here. Same when they're doing some image management, you got to do some damage management here. Now I don't know. I don't know if that would help, because she's got to be consistent. But if she keeps giving back, keeps showing off Flint, keeps doing good in and out the ring, people will eventually stop calling what she's doing out there with Tom the Turkey a PR stunt. I just think whether it's the turkey giveaways or interacting with people, consistency can kill the doubt. So can she be consistent? But I tell you what, if you donate turkeys, this is her 5th year. There are people who weren't aware of this, saying it's a publicity stunt. But if she could continue doing that next couple of years, people will eventually shut up and be like, all right, it's tradition, something she's doing. She know what it's like to not have. We got to at least give her that. They'll ease up on her. But this thing about humility, man, let me tell you, humility goes a long way. She does have a strong personality. It's part of what made her great, but fans react better to fighters who sprinkle in a little vulnerability. Everything can't be, I'll punch you in your face, I'll hit you, I'll punch you, I'll make you stand on what you said. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Of 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 year old talking that, you kind of understand, young and dumb, you're making mistakes. Nobody wants to hear this 30-year-old, 2-time gold medalist talk nonsense and display a lack of humility. Let me tell you this. You know what's very difficult? Getting in the ring and fighting is easy. You know, she's done it. I've done it. Not on the level of pros, but I've done it. There's a lot of people watching this video right now. You've done it. Everyone knows there's nothing to get in the ring, put on some boxing gloves and headgear and spar, especially if it's controlled. You know what I mean? You're working. Maybe you're doing 50% power, 100% speed, 100%. Maybe it's an all-out fight. You sparring. Boom. You hit somebody, hurt them. You don't finish them. Hey, you all right? You continue. Okay, then boom, you continue. Or maybe you say you hurt them bad, then just go work the body. So it just depends on the individual. So getting in the ring and fighting, that to me, it isn't hard. But what I do think is, what could be the most difficult is for someone to say, I've made mistakes. For someone to say, I'm learning. For someone to say, you know what, I appreciate the people who still support me. And for those of you who I've lost, I would hope that, I can regain you as supporters. I'm doing my best to improve myself, but it's going to be a long, arduous process, but I'm committed to change. And I think that shit will go a long way. But at the end of the day, when you are here, instead of being gobble gobble, you're being gangster. We probably won't get that shit. Because at the end of the day, man, she doesn't know how to do one of the next most important things is be silent. Sometimes the best way to win fans back is to stop arguing with them. Stop arguing with everybody. Stop talking about what you have, calling women hoes. Talk about who jealous of you. Talk about how you feel you look like Beyonce. Don't I like Beyonce? If I was white, I'd be Marilyn Monroe. I'd be the Guap Monroe. Marilyn Monroe. Claressa Shields, you don't look like Beyonce. You don't like Marilyn Monroe. You don't look like no goddamn Megan Thee Stallion. You don't look like none of them. You know who you look like? You like yourself. Get off that shit. Be comfortable the way God made you, man. Nothing wrong with you. Your attitude needs some improvement, but who hasn't been there? We all been there. I know I have. But I ain't never came out here talking about, don't I look like Denzel? Or don't I look like shit? I don't even know. Who's someone out there, people? I don't even know, man, because I don't give a shit. But if somebody come and tell me that, oh, man, which I have had people say things to me, that were very complimentary. I just be like, oh, no, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? But I never came out and tried to tell somebody, don't I look like so-and-so? Because I don't think about that shit. Because I don't care. Never question the way God made you. You adopt that mentality, you'll be all right. Forget what people think about you, man. But I just think you got to stop. People, especially her, stop responding to everybody. Stop. Critics, haters, trolls. We know there's some assholes out here. Just stop. The social media climate is a trap. And you have been, caught up in that trap for quite some time. The more you feed the negativity, man, the more negativity grows. Have you not learned that? Fans don't want to see a legend bickering online, 2-time gold medalist bickering online, top 1% of what she's doing bickering online. Someone who's achieved greatness in her career, legacy, and everything else, something that no other woman may ever do, from an amateur to a pro. And you out here acting the fool? Huh? You out here not holding your horses and taking it to the stupid? They want to see dominance in the ring and maturity outside of it. When we going to get the maturity? When we going to get that? You know what I'm saying? That's my question. Now, I'm going to tell you this, right? Time heals. At the end of the day, time heals everything except stubbornness. Right now, people want to pop shot Claressa because it's trendy. But she does give you something every day where you can look at it and be like, all right, man, she out here talking crazy. We're going to poke her in the eyeball. I get it. You know what I mean? She's become an easy target. No matter what she does, the public will twist it to fit their narrative. And sometimes they don't have to twist it. They're just going to give it back the way she delivered it. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say is the thing about trends is trends can fade, but she's got to sit back and just stop and let everything play out. She's got to focus. She's got to stay busy. Let her words speak for themselves. Let her work speak for themselves. Let her behavior speak for themselves. Let her attitude speak for itself. And I'm telling you, the same people who are criticizing her will eventually get back to looking more at her legacy and stuff like that. But I'll just say this. Now, will fans forgive the Ali comments, the online rants, her attitude towards critics? I think anything's possible. But that shit won't happen quickly. Yeah, that's gonna take some time, boy. You know what I'm saying? Boxing fans hold grudges, but they're also emotional and easily swayed. One great performance or one humble press conference, one viral positive moment, and suddenly fans start shifting again. People gave Tyson Fury after countless controversies. You know what I mean? They gave him a pass. They forgave him. They forgave Canelo after the clenbuterol scandal. They forgave Deontay Wilder after his wild accusations of Tyson Fury. Fans have selective memory when you win and when you look like you're growing. Because at the end of the day, fans want to root for you. But if you out here talking about you a bum, you broke, you this, you ugly, you this, so going into people's DMs, going into their page, trying to find anything you can so you can come back and be wicked, be evil, be the villain, the bad guy nobody likes. Well, then, that's your problem, okay? So I guess the real question is, does she even need forgiveness? Her legacy is already historic. Her accomplishments can't be undone by dislike. No matter what anyone feels towards Claressa Shields, you can't undo her accomplishments. You know what I mean? What's done is done. That shit's set in stone. But if she wants the love of the public, she must understand that fans don't respond to confidence, they respond to connection. But more importantly, this shit about, I'm the GOAT. Self-proclaimed. Now, everybody has their own definition. And I'm not telling you you're wrong. And you're not going to tell me I'm wrong. She's no GOAT, in my opinion. But remember, I look at whole person concept. I'm not just looking at accomplishments as a fighter. I don't care about what happened years before her. It's not her fault that maybe there was better competition back then, but it's not her fault that all those titles in Olympics didn't exist back then. She can only deal with what she's dealing with present time. So with me, I'm going to sit here and say, I'm looking at whole person concept outside of boxing. And with me, y'all, if you follow the channel, I talk a lot about attitude. I don't give a shit what you do. If you got a bad attitude, I'll pass your ass up. But most people know my background. That I don't give a shit how great you are, how effective you are. Your attitude sucks. I don't care. I don't want you in no leadership capacity. I don't want you to be the face of anything. You crazy? I don't want that. You a married man and you dealing with, are you a single man? You a married man dealing with women? Are you a single man dealing with married women? Why would I want you as a face of anything? You a single woman dealing with a married man like she is? It is what it is. Even though they separate, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, the women ain't feeling that shit. Or even if you're a married woman dealing with a single man, it doesn't matter. No one wants that as the face of anything. I'm telling you, man. God damn it. You know how many people I've seen relieved of their position because of that shit? Key leadership positions. Thousands of people they're responsible for. And then the name get caught up in some bullshit. Next thing you know, they're gone. You're like, what happened to so-and-so? They're like, yeah, he was, relieved of the position. And next thing you know, they're getting put into an administrative slot. They lose. Y'all ain't going to understand all this talk, but I'll put it to you this way. They were in a leadership capacity, but when they get themselves in hot water for that shit, adultery, I'm telling you, overnight your ass is gone. Because they don't want people, subordinates, looking up at you and being like, okay, this is what's going on. No, they're going to make an example out of your ass. It could be good if you're doing the right thing, and it could be bad if you're doing the wrong thing. And that's why when it comes to Claressa Shields, she's not the face of anything, in my opinion. So when we talk about the whole person concept, she doesn't deserve to be the face of nothing until she cleans up everything with her act. But if we're just talking boxing, just on a resume, if all we knew about Claressa Shields was what she did as just boxing, well, yeah, can't nobody compare to that. You know what I'm saying? Just boxing. Can't nobody compare to that. But that's just not how I work. Some of you work that way. I'm not telling you you're wrong, so don't come in the comments like a seagull, flying in, dropping shit off, stinking up the goddamn comment section, and flying back out. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear from you. I really don't care what you think. That's your opinion. Keep that shit to yourself. Don't come telling me I'm wrong. But the bottom line is, right? Fans don't respond to that arrogance. You know what I mean? They don't respond to all that confidence and shit. They're all about connection. They want to feel like Claressa respects them, not fights with them. Respects people, not fights with people. Respects relationship, respects the word of God. You can't come out here talking about God in the Bible, man. I'm telling you, boy, people spidey, them women especially, but them spidey senses start firing off. They're like, oh, she talking about what? But she's doing what? I hear them in the live every night in the live when there's some still come on there, but they ain't playing that shit. So they want to feel appreciated, not attacked. Same way Claressa Shields wants to feel appreciated, not attacked. But hey, you got to get your shit together. Other than that, they're going to keep attacking. They ain't stopping, I'm telling you. Even when I sit there and try to take the conversation another direction, they ain't trying to hear it, boy, at all. So the only person who can help Claressa Shields is Claressa Shields, man. They want to see a champion who gives back to her people, not because cameras are around, but because it comes from the heart. They really want to see things come from the heart. They want to feel that way. And here's the truth, right? Her turkey giveaway, I understand people, they ain't worried about that, a lot of people. But I think her turkey giveaway is from the heart. You know what I mean? Because I just listened to her, and she has not forgotten where she came from. She just right now going through some shit. But I do think because she's hurt people with her words, that a lot of people no longer see her actions clearly. But that's human nature, you know what I'm saying? So yes, Claressa can come back from all this, but only if she accepts the unspoken rule of fame. Fans forgive mistakes, they don't forgive ego. You know what I mean? Fans will forgive your mistakes, but that ego shit, they ain't gonna forgive that. She gotta overhaul some things. It ain't even about refinement. She needs a complete overhaul in some areas. And if she softens the delivery, not the personality, because she is what she is, just the delivery, I think over time, even her loudest critics will start saying, you know what? She's not that bad. She's mature, she's growing, and once the narrative starts gaining traction, Claressa Shields goes from villain to misunderstood champion, from PR stunt queen to Flint hero. Redemption is always possible, but it requires patience, self-awareness, and consistency. 3 things every great champion eventually learns, but she hasn't learned that yet, and she hasn't proven, at least to me, which she don't have to prove shit to me, but I'm watching, I'm like, yeah, she ain't quite got the patience down yet. Self-awareness, she kind of getting there, but still not really there yet, because if she had self-awareness, she wouldn't care shit about what nobody thought about her. You know what I'm saying? And consistency, she ain't there yet, because she'll come say one thing today, then, she'll say something now, 30 minutes later, she'll be on social media saying something wild. You got to clean it up, man. And nobody asking you to be perfect. But when you at the top 1%, it ain't the P word perfect. It sure ain't the P word. It ain't that one. It's called professionalism. Professionalism. But the bottom line, every great champion eventually learns. And I think she's learning. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.